Hi, how are you? Welcome to Remember's Corner. So, someone asked me a question. How do you manage feedback at open air concerts or functions? So, basically, how you manage feedback. Feedback is basically when a microphone picks up a sound that it has picked up before, and then it creates a loop. And when that loop becomes a lot, you then hear that continuous sound, which is feedback. So basically, so the question was, how do you manage feedback when you're doing an open air event? So managing feedback at an open air event, there are a few things to take note of. So basically, for example, it is a performance. We've got people performing on stage. It's about having monitors that are efficient enough to be loud enough for people to be able to hear. So for example, like some of the top setups in the world, for example, like giving you a good example is they will have wedges on the floor, like monitors on the floor facing the artist, and the lead singer would have like 4 monitors, two in the center right in front of them and two just on the sides. And then again, they'll also have side fields, which are speakers on either side of the stage, which are a bit bigger, which just best help cover the whole stage. So with that kind of setup, when you put the vocal in the front monitors and you put the vocals in the side field, with the least effort, an artist is able to hear themselves and they are happy. So in that scenario, feedback is actually sorted, fixed. And in the same scenario, like also talking about top international events, you'd see the amount of PA used for the audience, and you'd also see that like with international events, they have a request that says in every listening area they want the level to be as such, so which means speakers would need to be distributed evenly in the different spaces to cover them properly to get that sound pressure level. So again, now the system is efficient. So when you put in a signal in there, like with also like not crazy effort, it works. So that also minimizes feedback. But now let's come now to Africa now with some of the scenarios that I see. So people have got have inadequate monitors, and the monitors are not efficient in themselves, and the people want to hear themselves a lot in those monitors. So I think it is going to be a challenge for you to get more level in those monitors. So it's also understanding the limits of your speakers. If your speakers can only do so much, when someone wants more level, you must be able to communicate that, what, I've now done the best level that I can do. But there are different tools that you can use to get more level. For example, if it is monitors, one of the key things to have is a graphic EQ inserted on that auxiliary output, or basically an analog graphic EQ passing through that. If it's a digital mixer, you basically do the first thing inserted. So a graphic EQ, the 30 band one gives you 30 different sliders which you can take down to also reduce the amount of feedback as well. So that is one thing, but really in terms of reducing feedback, you must have an efficient system. Without an efficient system, you must understand your system and understand the limitations, and also understand how much can you do. If you try to do anything else more than that, then you're gonna get into trouble. But so there are also like some basic fundamental rules dealing with feedback. It is always about, you take up the mic and you hear the first feedback, you find, and then you notice where is that frequency, you take it down, you take up again that mic, you hear the second feedback, which will be at a different frequency, you also take that down as well, and then you take up the mic again, and then you hear the third feedback, which should be at different frequency, and then you take that down. So in a way, you'd know that you found 3 frequencies that are the most problematic. So if you take those down, you'll be able to get a bit of more level of that microphone, for example, in the monitors or in the PA system, which is basically that that way of doing things, taking up the gain or taking up the level and hearing feedback, that is what they say ringing out a system. So it's basically you ringing out your monitors, you ringing out your PA system, so that you know the limits. You know, if you have to push this mic during the show, you can only go so much. So when you know these limitations as well, you also reduce the amount of feedback that you also get. So basically that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, Corner, looking forward to have you again. Bye for now.